So that's Joe right above us. Hi, everyone. And hello, Joe. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. You're playing that video I put up on YouTube.
Yeah, do you see it?
Yeah, it was like one of the last Silent Hill sessions we did.
Well, I learned a lot about your music making process, as a work for hire, with working with Akira and stuff, and how it all went down. And through that video, basically, it gave me a brief snippet of an idea. I'm sure there was a lot more to it.
That building there, that's Magnitude 8 Post. Les Claypool, owner and sound engineer, and we used to call him the Sonic Bat. He, very picky on sound. That's what I really liked about working with Les. The quality of sound. A lot of people working in TV and movie back then had pretty bad quality sound. So I did a lot of Japanese anime there, either as a sound engineer or a ADR director. Sometimes they'd throw me in the booth whenever they'd need a deep voice guy. Joe, there's a big giant. Okay. So I get them to punch me in, and then I go in and do my deep voice guy stuff. But anyway, a lot of times, they'd come to me with music. Sometimes they had to replace the music, singing it in English instead of in Japanese. So I'd help them do the music cues. And then along came Silent Hill.
So, what is it you're currently working on now, if you're allowed to divulge any information on what it is you're working on?
Well, there's
I know you have Shadowbox Studio as your record label.
Yeah, the Shadowbox Studio is my own personal home studio that I do most of my work out of. I do a lot of work in post-production, doing sound design and sound effects, Foley, stuff like that. Or, music, whatever the film needs. Right now I'm working on an ADR project that's being dubbed from Spanish into English, but they also need little music stingers and logo sounds and stuff like that. So, that's what I do, music and post-production.
And you've had that label for, since before even Silent Hill, way back.
Oh, sure.
Do you want to divulge to us how you came up with the name? I mean, it was kind of interesting.
We were talking about that. Yeah. Shadowbox Studio. Everybody's got a story behind their name. I think we were talking about your name there. Fungo.
Yeah, he was wondering how I came up with my name Fungo, and it was just completely just lazy. It was the laziest name that I ever came up with. But
Shadowbox Studio, I had a cat named Shadow. Really cool cat. And his box was about 10 feet away from my recording setup, so I called it Shadowbox Studio. We recorded a lot. I love that cat.
So it's associated with a dirty letterbox.
We record a lot of good shit there.
As you said, you did a lot of sound work. I did notice that you did work for you actually were the Magini, the zombies from Resident Evil 5. You also did what is it called, production sound design for Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, 5 and 6. I worked on sound design like Foley and.
Well, considering your involvement between the two, do you think it's possible you might be working on 7 as well, because they're making a Resident Evil 7 right now?
I don't think so.
No contact.
It's funny. The whole industry has changed. The main people I used to work with, Yutaka Masaiba and Les Claypool, are no longer doing it. And of course, my good friend Kevin Seymour is no longer alive. And I fell into the industry quite by chance. I was a musician that made a living as a sound engineer, and I worked with Howie Epstein, the bass player for the Heartbreakers, about 4 years before I hooked up with Magnitude 8.
Back in the 70s, you were a drummer.
Well, yeah, I said 80s. In 1980.
It was the 80s?
I was in a band called the Mark Tanner Band. But then after that, there was Yoli Locks and the Bears, and then there was Soy Cowboy. Soy Cowboy is a very special project.
Now, anyone in the sorry for interrupting, but anyone in the chat, if you have any questions for Joe, be sure to ask a question. I mean, it's great. There's a lot of fans of anime. We were actually just talking about anime. Actually, I have a note here. You've actually you voiced David in Blood, the Last Vampire. And I'm sure people here know about that.
Yes.
You also did various voices in Akira. And Akira is a really popular anime.
Oh, I was the biker clown.
Biker clown. See, I didn't watch Akira. I didn't watch all of Akira yet, but people in the chat definitely know that.
Yeah, everybody knows the biker clown. But that's the perfect part for me because I'm not really a trained voice actor, and it's easier for me to go efforts like that.
It's not hard to grunt. Zombie is probably the easiest role you can get, and you get a little paycheck, and you go, okay, that was some money. I'll pay some rent.
Zombie, it's a part to die for.
Exactly. You are a contract or a work for hire, right? So, a lot of people here for Silent Hill. How did you come to meet Akira, and how were you chosen?
It was just another project coming through. They needed a male and a female vocalist. They wanted the male vocalist to also be able to do like a chant, like the.
That's the chant. That was you.
All that stuff. So I just
he was the guy. You're the guy that made me shit my pants. Okay. I didn't realize that was you chanting. Now that I know, I'll be like, "That's Joe Romersa."
They all
chanting.
thought it was a bunch of monks.
That's funny. Well, I am a monkey.
I also heard your unreleased track called "Joe Restless Dreams."
Now that
what's the deal with that? Like,
I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Really.
You're just you're just like vocalizing.
Yeah. Sometimes he just say.
What did you send it to? Did you send it to Akira and he said, "Well, we're not going to use it," but then it ended up being published anyway?
I don't know. My job, after I got hired to do it, not only to be the director for it, but to sing on some of the stuff with Mary. I got the track that had the melody, and there were some lyrics. It was more like poetry, and my job was to basically try and translate the translation and turn it into a song.
So it was more poetic lyrics that you received in Japanese, right?
Well, originally in Japanese, and then we translated them, and things get lost in translation, so you have to make up for it on the other side, and that's where I came in. And so once I wrote the songs and demoed them, then we give them to Mary to sing, and basically she could practice for about a week or two, and then we go into the studio, and Akira would be there in the studio when we recorded. He doesn't speak much English, but music is an international language, so we worked our way through it.
Oh, I'm sure he loved what you sent back to him.
Yeah, well, I just.
Was there ever co-collaboration? Like you would send him something and you'd be like, well, can you kind of do it this way? And then you'd have to make some changes or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, there was always changes. Well, not always. Every once in a while I'd hit a lyric and it would just be perfect and it would just, But, Mary is such an incredible talent. I mean, she could sing the phone book.
She pretty much nailed it. Like, I'm sure. Like, so you didn't have to. Like, it's like, well, my job's done. She nailed it.
Yeah, like that one song. I think it was "Room of Angels," where she's so insignificant, sitting dormant inside of me. Da, 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 da. You know, when she's going
very
off like
lullaby-like, yeah.
That was actually leftover lyrics I had on standby in case we needed something, and there was like a piano solo going on there, and she just started mimicking the piano solo, and it was just it was brilliant. I just got
it is brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
I was glad it was recording.
Sounds good.
But,
so poetic.
And we pumped it up pretty quick too. I mean, we only had a couple hours to do it. So it was, just like everything we were doing in anime. You book out the studio for a certain amount of time, and you couldn't really go over. Or sometimes you could, but I mean, it was in the budget to get out at a certain time. So we hit these things pretty fast back then. And, the lyric for like Hometown, for example, that was basically, a lot of that was stream of consciousness lyrics. I sang.
I like that. I like the stream of consciousness approach. Like, I can kind of feel it too in some places. Like, you tell a little story in the middle of Hometown.
that
like the spoken part, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't write that. Somebody wrote that and just told me to read it, and I read it.
Okay.
But the rest of it was a song lyric, that my job was to make it a song, because it was originally released as an instrumental, I guess, on the first one, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a remake of the opening theme to the first game.
Right.
And it was all instrumental, and I guess Akira Yamaoka jazzed it up a bit and then probably sent it to you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like we'd record the vocals, and then he'd take them to Japan, and then a lot of times, rework the whole track around the vocals. A lot of time, the guide track was a very simple track, but we didn't hear it until it was released. About 8 months later. And then it's like, wow, Akira put all this ambient sound around it.
So sometimes, so you're saying basically sometimes he would he would just send you a bare bones, like, here's the idea of what it's going to sound like, and then you would go ahead, provide the lyrics, the singing, the vocals, you would send it over to him, and then he would just like jazz it up and make something impressive out of it.
When you're playing along to a click, and your vocal is going to be in time, you can replace everything around that if you want, because it's on the grid. It's on that.
Yeah. Did you write "You're Still Here"?
You're Still Here,
which is the opening theme to Silent Hill 3.
You're not here, right?
I think it's "You're Not Here."
Yeah.
Same difference.
Yeah. That was
Hey, sister. That's his name.
That was also one of the kind of tracks that the lyrics where there were some original poetry lyrics, and I just had to make it fit with the track. What I could salvage and what I could add to it. That kind of thing.
Someone has a question that has been asking over and over and over and over again. I should get to it.
Okay.
Wants to know what Les Claypool. I don't know how to say that name. Is it Les or Les? Les
Claypool.
Yeah, wants to know what he's like.
It's the opposite of more Claypool.
So what Les Claypool is like?
Les is very eclectic spirit. I mean, he's a sound engineer. He's a musician, also like myself. He started off as a musician, incredible guitar player, but you never hear him because he never plays for you. He is a perfectionist.
Forgotten Ghost asks, when writing the lyrics for songs in English, would you talk them over with Akira and Jeremy Blaustein? Did you ever meet Jeremy Blaustein regarding translation?
No.
So he was a completely separate, independent thing for translation. Okay. So he wasn't involved in the translation of the music lyrics then?
I really don't know. I can't read Japanese, so I just got the translation from Zero Limit Productions, which Yutaka Masuda was.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. I figured you didn't. I mean, you have met Akira Yamaoka on many occasions, but also, I do have a question. You specifically handpicked Mary Elizabeth McGlynn in an audition, right? How did that whole auditioning process go, and what stood out about Mary? Like, what stood out about her, out of all the other people you've auditioned?
Well, I think number one, because she worked with us on so many things. I was working.
Oh, you've worked with her prior.
Oh yeah, like Fist of the North Star. I was ADR director for that, and she was Yulia, a very meek and helpless character, which Mary hated playing. She liked playing the tough guy, the tougher characters, smarter characters.
Oh, I know. She voices Maria in. Doesn't she voice Maria?
Yeah, they have
in the HD collection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she plays a very strong character in that.
Yeah, but I had a girl named Julia Free audition, and Gina Gerard, and I think one other, I can't remember. But basically, I would bring them into my studio and have them sing along with a track, and then I'd sing submit the auditions to Akira, and they ended up going with Mary, which was great because we knew her, she was dependable. And,
awesome. So it was kind of your choice, but then you also sent it over to Akira and other people involved, and you. Yeah,
and I think because she had done so much voice work, I think
it really does help to have a lot under your belt when it comes to something like this. And
she was blonde.
Blonde always helps. That always gets you a job when you're a rock and roll star.
Hey.
Well, especially, with the Silent Hill image, the Heather look,
Yeah. What was it like working with her? I mean, what's she like?
She seems cool.
Personality-wise.
She's insane.
Sorry, go ahead.
Great. She's insane.
I heard insane, and then it just stopped. And I'm like,
she's funny. She's very funny, very easy to work with, very professional. I was there when she was given the director role for Cowboy Bebop, the show I wanted, and I got the North Star. Yeah, but that's okay.
Sure.
I got to play a little voice on Cowboy Bebop of Abdul.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Small little voice.
Well, someone in our chat saw her live, and she's pretty good. Or she's nuts is the phrase. I don't know if that means she's good or if she's literally nuts, but
she's crazy. She knows how to have a good time. She's
crazy in a good way. Okay.
Crazy in a good way, yeah. Not in a bad way. Not like Kiefer Sutherland was with Kevin Seymour when they were dubbing Armitage III.
Oh my god.
That was disastrous.
What happened?
Well, if you knew Kevin Seymour, he was a very gentle soul and very shy. He didn't like going to parties, didn't like picture taking, all that stuff. And so he has to be ADR director at a different studio, than we normally work at. And he's working with Kiefer Sutherland. And Kiefer is giving him all kinds of shit. And Kevin just couldn't fight back with him because he's Kiefer,
It's intimidating.
Oh, very intimidating. Yeah. And actually, I ran into Kiefer at Hotel Cafe one time, and I said, "Hey, hi, I worked with Kevin Seymour, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so embarrassed. That day I didn't, he didn't know why he was there. He said his agent said that it would be good for him to do this thing, and he didn't know why he was there, right? So, and the way he has only one voice, really, and in animation, especially if you're projecting, like if you're calling out to Armitage and you go, Armitage, stop! And you're projecting so far, Kiefer would deliver something like, Armitage, stop! And, Kevin would say, can you do it a little louder, please? And he'd go, okay. Armitage, stop. Yeah, and he just couldn't get it. After a couple tries, Kiefer would just be giving him all kinds of things.
Just to be on the same page, we're talking Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Right.
Because I had a big issue with his voice acting in Metal Gear Solid 5. It was not that great. I'm going to be honest here. I mean, in positions where he really needed to sound urgent, he would just talk like this, and it's like that's not you're not. No.
Well, the thing is, he's an on-camera actor, and you can get that intensity sometimes with the facial thing, or if you're live in the situation. But if you're not a voiced actor and you just get thrown into it, I don't know.
I really want to ask you about your singing specifically. What we have heard is Hometown. We have heard Cradle of Forest, and we have heard Joe's Sweet Dreams, which I actually do like that. But my favorite one is Cradle of Forest. I guess my question is, I want to know, what are your origins? What really, I mean, what inspirations do you take from when it comes to your style, your overall style?
It's very deep.
It's very deep.
Yeah,
some people actually have compared you to David Bowie.
The Japanese used to call me Joe Bowie.
Joe Bowie.
That's an honor.
That's probably why they liked your songs, because they're like, oh, it sounds like Bowie.
Because when I first heard Hometown, I thought it was David Bowie.
When I first heard it, back before the game even came out, it was a low resolution file that they posted on their website. Very low resolution. And when I heard it, I was like, oh no, they're doing singing now in Silent Hill. I'll be honest. I was like, oh, they're going to put singing in Silent Hill now? But when I heard it, a lot of people, it was discussions, just is it David Bowie? Did they get David Bowie to sing this?
Most people in rock and roll are high tenors.
Yeah.
Like Troy Baker. I mean, what a great voice. I mean, high tenor voice, that usually
he has such a clear voice.
But the pitch up there, it cuts through the loud music better than the deep voice. The deep voice kind of gets lost a little bit sometimes.
So would you say then that is your vocal style then, or were you putting on a voice? I mean,
I don't know. That's my okay. Let's sing the best I can voice.
Okay.
Other than a lot of my other voices, which are a little bit more talk singy or a little bit just
because there's different ways to sing. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different ways you can go about singing. Some people can do I don't know if you've heard of Steam Powered Giraffe. One of the singers in Steam Powered Giraffe can go from
very low to high.
Yeah, very low to high. Just on a
I know, I'm basically a drummer, but but no, have you heard the song I put out last year called Whose Thoughts Are Mine?
No, you have a podcast?
Because that's a different kind of you can hear it on YouTube actually.
Do you have
Whose Thoughts Are Mine?
Do you have a YouTube channel or a Twitter if anyone wanted to get in contact with you?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. I
have one real last question that's might have been already answered, I don't know. But do you have a lot of creative freedom with the song lyrics? When you were writing for Silent Hill 3 and 4? I guess you got more creative freedom as you progressed through the series, right?
Right. Well, it was a new thing on 3 and 4 for everybody, and they just wanted to make sure they they were getting what they needed, and after those two were done, they just basically said, "Okay, Joe, here's the script for the next one. We need 4 songs about this, this, and this."
Oh, so they would send you the actual script of the game?
Yes.
Oh, so you did actually, because my second part of that question was, did you have to research the game's themes, or were you just given transcripts for inspiration?
Yeah, no, I'm much better at reading the script than playing the game. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
And when I need to get it done fast, I can't spend all night.
Yeah, you're sitting there playing, okay, I got to finish this tomorrow, okay, well, maybe the next day. Yeah, you don't have time for that.
I have no time.
Well, I've seen musicians that just can't play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I get on Guitar Hero, I suck.
I think it was David Morello. He was trying to play it, and he couldn't do it because it's not the same.
It's a whole different instrument.
Imana Sao says, were you actually chanting any lyrics in that prayer song, or was it just random vowels like you were just doing?
Random vowels, basically, because lyric words will lock you into a mood or feeling, pretty much. But the basic thing about chanting is to the harmonics, like harmonic singing.
Like it's a bunch of people chanting together.
There's a melody going up, even though it's a drone. It's a.
Well, you should do more chanting in Silent Hill games. I don't know why they haven't brought you back to do more, but another question is, have you heard anything about the Silent Hill 3 HD collection when they re-released it in HD a couple years back?
No, not at all.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Do you know who Michael G is?
Michael G.
He's a voice actor for Harry.
He's the voice actor for Harry Mason. He's the biggest mystery of all time. No one knows who he is. He's the first game's protagonist. Michael G is all he's credited as, and no one knows who he is. But
G is such a popular last name.
Right? Exactly. It's like he wanted to be anonymous with it.
I thought he did. So. I thought he did voice acting in Resident Evil 4, unless I'm mistaken.
That's possible. Someone wants to thank you, though. No question, but I do want to thank you, Joe Romersa, for your work in Silent Hill 3. Your lyrics conveyed the same kind of strange and abstract feelings that are essential to the feel of Silent Hill, and you did an incredible job on that. And that was from Rain. That's his name. And I agree with him. 100% I agree.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Rain.
So you're reading the script and translating the Japanese poetic stuff and then making lyrics out of it. Turned out perfectly. It was poetry in itself.
Yeah, like especially Hell Frozen Rain. That was probably one of the most fun.
I like ORT.
Everything about it was ice, and I had to write a song related to ice and cold and all things.
Everyone seems to be amazed that you're the one that did the chanting. I don't think anyone
I think that no one knew.
It was so disembodied and demonic sounding. I think everyone thought it was.
Well, hey, you know what? If anyone out there, any possible people looking for some scary demonic chanting or scary demonic characters for voice acting, you should definitely get Joe Romersa. He's very good at it. It's very scary.
Hey, we can call it a game of chance.
Well, it was definitely nice talking to you. I don't think anyone else has any other questions. Wait, I got a question. Edge, back then, what was the social context of working in a video game? Was it cool? Was it weird? What was it like socially? Or was it just a paycheck? More work? Was it another credit on your IMDb?
Yeah, no, it's never just the money, but the money is nice. You want to do the best you can at any project you're given. you know, and I try to be as artistic and as fresh on anything I'm working on, whether I'm getting paid or not, you know. So that's the bottom line, you know.
Pretty much why I do what I do. I mean, I do it because I enjoy it, people enjoy it, the money's nice, but I do it mostly because it doesn't feel like work. It feels like...
Yeah, you know, it was fun to try and get into the game and into the feel and the mood and ambience of it.
I think everything that needed to be said and discussed, I guess, about Silent Hill 3 in specific, and Silent Hill music, unless you have more to add.
Who's Ho Romersa?
What?
Ho Romersa.
Ho Romersa. Hey. Who are you calling Ho?
Wait, someone called you Ho? Oh, you must be looking at the YouTube chat. No, that wasn't someone being rude. That was just a typo.
Oh my god.
I thought it was someone literally being rude, but no, it was a typo.
No, just alcohol-related accident.
Speaking of which, I think I need a few drinks.
I'm going to the Mexican joint right down the street, actually.
Awesome. Have some Mexican food and margaritas. Awesome.
That's what I'm talking about, with some habanero sauce.
Oh, I love hot sauce. I dump it all over everything. I probably shouldn't, but I do.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Dave's Insanity Sauce?
No, that's a new one.
Oh, dude, you gotta have this. Yeah, it's a guy named Dave, and he puts out a couple different kinds of hot sauce.
Yeah, it was a really good talk, and thank you very much. Enjoy your Mexican food, and it was really awesome, and I didn't really expect you to even respond back to me, so this is cool.
I want to say thank you, because this is really cool. I'm trying to hold in my enthusiasm.
Curb your enthusiasm, please.
I wish you both big success.
Thank you.
Thank you, and you too.